Greetings everyone, it's IT2. It's Halloween. Tomorrow I'll be putting out a wrap-up video of all the things I've been watching and reading and stuff about spooky season, and this will be a short video. I was watching a movie, and I wanted to make a video about this because it's kind of interesting. The movie, the character is hearing voices, and recently we had this Maine shooter killed like 18 people, and they say he was hearing voices too. And like I was talking to a guy at work about this, I was like, when people hear voices in their head, do they always do what they say? Like, why don't you just say no? Like, you can say no just like any situation in life. Like, you don't have to, just because you hear a voice in your head doesn't mean you have to do what it says. I was reading this article that was talking about also he was maybe thinking people around him were talking about him, like behind his back, calling him a pedophile and saying things. I mean, for most people, it's pretty much a guarantee that people are talking about you behind your back. Because, do you talk about people behind their back? Yeah, so then people probably talk about you behind your back. Everybody does it. It's like when I used to get off work, sometimes I would leave, and then the person I was working with would stay a little bit later. They wouldn't leave right away. I'm like, they're talking about me right now. They're in there. They're talking about me, saying some shit. But like, that's just part of life. I don't get mad about it and think I'm going to go shoot people. I don't even know if it's necessarily bad things. Maybe they're saying good things about me. You just have to deal with it. You have to like mentally cope with the fact that like, I don't know, when you get divorced, your wife's going to be sleeping with other people. That's just part of life. You just got to get over that. Don't go kill anybody. It's just something that happens. Another thing I was reading this book where somebody, what was it? Somebody died, and then, the character was like starting to date somebody who used to be married to his best friend that had died. So he felt guilty about it. But like, you can't ask a dead person like for permission or like a blessing that it's okay to date their ex-wife or whatever. Anyway, the hearing voices things also made me think about the NPC thing. Like, maybe what happens is NPCs, people that don't have an inner monologue in their brain. If you don't know what that is, look it up. I've made videos about it before. Like, most people have an inner monologue that's like, we're a body with a guy inside of our brain that's like driving the body, and he's looking out of our eyes as windows, and he's like thinking, he's hearing sounds coming in our ears, and he makes decisions based on that. And you kind of like, your conscience or your consciousness is like talking to itself. You're always talking to yourself inside your head, or you think about things you wish you had said when you're taking a shower. I do that a lot. Some people, this is like foreign to them. They've never heard of it. It's like a weird, like they don't know what we're talking about. Maybe like 15-20% of the population doesn't have this. But what if some people start out like that, where they have no inner monologue, and then at some point in their life they start to get one, and then they start thinking that they're hearing voices and they're going crazy when they're just like 80% of the population, like everybody else. Well, how do they react? Maybe it'll probably change the whole way they read and like hear stories and create. Like, some people don't see visions of, like, if I said red apple, you can visualize a red apple in your brain. I'm doing it right now. But most people can't do that. They can't like see a red apple in their brain. They can just hear the words and they know what the word means, but they can't like. There's also like face blindness, which is kind of weird. I don't understand that. Dan Harmon has face blindness. So he has to like look at their hair and listen to their voice and stuff to like try to figure out who people is around him. Like, he can't even like distinguish unless it's like he looks at their shoes. Maybe sometimes it's like, what are you talking about? I can't understand face blindness probably the same way that they can't understand having an inner monologue. So, should we keep people without an inner monologue, NPCs, in prisons? Maybe we should be screening for this with psychological testing or something. I don't know. I don't even know if that was the case where that guy might have been an NPC and he started to switch. Maybe just don't listen to voices in your head, first of all. Or if you have a ghost that comes to you and starts telling you to do things, or you start seeing like a demon that starts telling you to do things. That's another thing in movies. Like, don't mean you gotta do it. Are they threatening you in some way? Or what is the? Why would you do something like? If I hear a voice in my head says you need to go to the bowling alley and shoot 18 people, that sounds like a horrible idea. What are you talking about? Like I'd argue with it. Why is everybody arguing with their voices in their head? That's all I'm saying.